1 second. Now it might go actually. Now we are live.
Oh, we are. Good.
Yes! Alright, so if we are live now, people are going to now please say, I think हम बहुत देर से जो बकवास कर रहे थे वो सब इसके अंदर लाइव में चला गया. Hi! If people can hear us, please say hi. Hi Rahul!
Oh, we were live all this while.
I don't know. I don't know, but now we are definitely live. Now we are most certainly live.
Okay.
I do these live streams once in like 6 months. So I always forget कि ये कैसे करनी होती है. But now I'm live. I've got a notification. Hi!
Hello.
So we watched a ton of movies this week.
A lot of movies, yeah. I know. In fact, last week, but it feels like all weeks have melded into it.
Because I was until Saturday uploading like on my Instagram and everything, and like in fact on Sunday I was till yesterday I was uploading on my Instagram, like my little mini movie reviews on the side that I make. So I felt like I literally just finished watching all the releases that came out last week, and you तो didn't even watch White Lotus. मेरे में तो White Lotus के वो सारे episodes भी जोड़ दे काम के अंदर.
Oh right, yeah. No, I watched another couple of things that that I didn't share yet. I forgot myself. Yeah.
And Murder in a Courtroom Indian Predator as well.
हाँ वो तो previous week था ना.
मैंने last week देखा है.
अच्छा.
Because and then they were. And then we also went for another screening, which was the Film Companion Netflix Take 10 screening, which were the 10 winners of the grant. So we went and watched those films as well. So last week we've consumed hours and hours of cinema.
Yeah. I watched the Harry Styles film also, My Policeman.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, so hi everyone who's joining in for a live. My name is Sucharita. This is my channel. It always takes me 5 minutes to figure out how to go live, and then Rahul Desai has joined me here. He's a film critic, and this week we I think managed to see except Enola Holmes everything together.
हाँ, pretty much.
सारी screenings पे हम साथ में बैठे हुए थे ऐसे. Oh
most of them,
What's the screens? I'm going to share my screen to so that people know what it is that we're talking about. So overall, tell me, bata, what has been your experience of last week of watching all the releases?
It wasn't one of our better weeks. There was maybe one decent film, but if you watch 5 or 6, thoda hit rate thoda kam hai. But हाँ काफी मतलब we'll know while we speak about it. Unfortunate and as you pointed out, there were so many similarly themed films last week. Like so many female-driven films last week, and you expect a lot more than what we got eventually.
Yeah, no, I was so excited because all the big releases of the week are, as you can see on this thumbnail, are women star movies, and you can't even see Sonakshi Sinha on this one because there's Sonakshi Sinha and Huma Qureshi in XXL, there's Millie Bobby Brown in Enola Holmes, there's Janvi Kapoor in Mili, in As Mili, and then there's Katrina Kaif in Phone Booth, which also has Ishan Khattar and Siddhant Chaturvedi, but come on, it's a Katrina Kaif film. She's the biggest name associated with that film. Your pick, best movie of the week?
For me, it was Enola Holmes and Mili, I'd say.
Okay.
Two different kind of films, but I enjoyed both in different ways.
And the worst film of the week?
Worst was Phone Booth.
Yeah?
Yeah, Phone Booth. For me it was Phone Booth. I just switched off.
Yeah, after a point. Yeah, same. So for me, best movie was Mili and worst movie was Phone Booth. So now let's talk ऐसे detail में थोड़ा. Let's start with Phone Booth. चलो, the worst film according to both of us of the week is Phone Booth. Why Rahul? Why? What happened? What happened to you while watching Phone Booth? And let me tell you this, you guys. Rahul and I was watching a 9 a.m. show together Friday morning. First day, first show का जो joy होता था ना वो तो live से चला ही गया है. I like make Fridays great again. I want to fall back in love with the experience of going to the movie theater at 9 in the morning. What a thrill, what a picnic, what a joy and a treat to be able to do that as a profession choice. But we were sitting there I just couldn't understand what was going on, and the people around me were laughing, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'm missing something. Okay, Sujata, forget about the world, forget about everything, forget about your preconceived notions and what you think about these actors and this kind of story and horror comedy, everything. Get into the film. I just couldn't get into the film.
Yeah, same. I think both of us were going through the same thing. irrespective of the fact that we were sitting next to each other, we were like stuck in our own little worlds because there were people laughing behind at some gags that were incredibly unfunny, and I was like, maybe there's something wrong with us. I
Yeah.
started to obviously, being the imposter syndrome champions that we are, we tend to doubt ourselves, and I'm like, okay, let's just see what this film is trying to do, and maybe judge it according to what it's trying to do. But that's an excuse given by mediocre films most of the time to justify how bad they are. Just because you're a film that wants to be stupid, which this film clearly doesn't really, vindicate its decision to be so senseless and, like sort of borrow like pop cultural references from the 1970s onwards and pura Bollywood ka mishmash karke. It just by aspiring to be that doesn't make you a good film, right? Like,
Yeah, it was more meme than film, yaar. You
हाँ, वो
know,
तो है ही.
and I said this in my review as well, like Phone Booth wants you to know how clever it is with its references and with its like inside joke. And I could swear I heard the voiceover call the film Chal Charitra once in the beginning and once in the end, which is no wrong. It's Chal Chitra,
Yeah.
not Chal Charitra. They fixed it in the trailer. The trailer is as Chal Chitra, but I could swear I heard the voice say Chal Charitra.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to make a stoner comedy, I'm here for it, you guys. I give me that film. I want to sit and watch a dumb movie. I really, you have no idea how desperate I am to watch a dumb movie that will bring me just escapist joy. But this is not even a stoner comedy. Like they're stoned in two scenes where they take some kind of magic pill, and the rest of it is just them being just absolutely badly written characters. There's not this character. The only difference between these two is that one is North Indian and South Indian, and we know that he's North Indian because he drinks lassi. That's Siddhant Chaturvedi, and the other one we know is South Indian because he drinks filter coffee and says some words that are not in Hindi, and the other one says oh teri oh ye wo. So अच्छा भाई ये तो North Indian है. मतलब इतने गंदे लिखे हुए किरदार. And the thing is that these are all just, at least these boys, like, alright, Siddhant and Ishan, but we're talking about, they're both very good performers. They're so good. And Siddhant Chaturvedi's filmography I've been quite impressed with because he's done like with every new film, he turns into a completely new character. Even Bunty Bubbly, which was like,
Yeah.
Bunty Bubbly for me was like a funny film because it was
Yeah.
like a dumb escapist with elements of absurdism in there as well, sure. And I enjoyed Bunty Bubbly. It was fun for me. But this is just like, it was smug. It pissed me off because it was just like too cool. No, dude.
Like, I mean, I get the whole so bad it's good zone. You want to like really aspire to be that, and given that it's a legit Bollywood genre, especially in the last 10 years, the problem is most films don't even realize whether they are so bad it's good or just so bad. Like,
Yeah.
and you can see like the sense of humor, the kind of humor dripping from this film is the kind of humor a lot of sort of urban professionals in Bombay and Delhi in metros really thrive on, like cracking a dumb joke, then looking at everyone in the room and nobody is laughing, so you start laughing yourself and then everyone starts laughing. The whole film
Yeah.
is that basically.
Yeah.
And you can see Farhan Akhtar do something like that in a film.
Yeah.
He's played characters like that where he's purposely cracking bad puns, like in Zindagi Na Milegi Dobara.
Yeah.
But that kind of didn't translate into a whole stupid film. Like you to enjoyed Bhool Bhulaiya too. I didn't even enjoy that.
Yeah, I did. I enjoyed Bhool Bhulaiya because Bhool Bhulaiya was very intentional in what it was doing. In my mind, that film had a little bit more clarity of intention that I am only going to make an entertaining film. There's going to be no anything, but all of us are going to work so hard, including Tabu, to make sure you have a good time. Here in this film, nobody is interested in the audience having a good time because these jokes are all inside jokes. They are to make yourself laugh. And it's just the writing is just not interested in being saying anything that a genre like horror comedy or absurdism is here to exists to say. Again, Ishan Khatter, fantastic performer. I've always liked him. I know you didn't like him in Dhadak, I remember, but I have liked him in Dhadak. I've liked him in just like he seems like he's like a smart fellow, like an intelligent fellow who knows what he's doing and talking about. But ye to bhai, even in the promotion cycle and the general attitude that everyone that surrounds this film feels like it's a party and you're not invited. Sorry, am I bitter? Like, do I want to be invited to this party?
No, but that's a good way to put it, honestly. And also, it felt like I totally forgot to even mention the performances in my review because I was so fed up. But it did feel like an extension of Coffee with Karan, right? Like all of them were just wearing costumes.
Yes.
Like that's it.
Exactly.
That's pretty much it. Like there's nothing more to it. And if you want to sell that as a film, I can see takers because there were people laughing behind us. People want to leave their brains at home, so to say. People love Andaz Apna Apna, so they obviously try to find the next deliberately stupid film. But this isn't that. This isn't even close to it. It pretends to be so many things that that Bollywood was supposed to be known for in the 90s. But I didn't laugh once. I didn't chuckle once.
Not once. I think I chuckled when Jackie Shroff randomly starts playing the bansuri, which I was just like, he is on a whole level of like trip only, yaar. He's just having too much fun, and I enjoy that because I'm like, okay, he's having fun, whatever. Jackie Shroff is Jackie Shroff, right? You can't help but laugh when Jackie Shroff starts playing the bansuri. Hero ki theme tune. No, so like to become Andaz Apna Apna as well. Andaz Apna Apna was saying something. Andaz Apna Apna was a very funny satire on the class divide in our society and how people, if they need to escape the cycle of poverty and unemployment, have to apply schemes and various things to be able to get rich quick. It is a commentary on every satire is commentary on politics. That is the whole purpose of satire. This film is not satire, it is not absurdism, it is not surrealism, it's not dadaism, it is not horror comedy. I failed to understand who this film was speaking to, and it just makes me really upset because I was excited to watch Katrina Kaif do comedy because she has very good comic timing. She's just it's just nothing.
Yeah, fair enough. I have nothing to add to that.
कुछ है ही नहीं सर ऐड करने के लिए. चलो हम अपनी अगली फिल्म पे जाते हैं. Let us go to Enola Holmes. चलो, let's talk about Enola Holmes now. You start.
Enola Holmes I actually quite liked. I'm not a fan of the first one. I know it was like it really sort of triggered a lot of pop cultural discourse. It was a big deal when it released on Netflix a couple of years ago. Not a big fan. It was overstuffed for me, but I always liked Millie Bobby Brown, and this is from someone who hasn't even seen enough of Stranger Things.
Right. तूने तो देखा भी नहीं है पूरा, right? You're not a fan.
नहीं, like I have only seen half of the first season, I guess, and that's pretty much it. But I kind of like this one, like I felt like the makers almost took feedback about what was wrong with the first season and applied it to the first film and applied it to the sequel, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm not saying that you needed more Sherlock Holmes to sort of make it more interesting, but the way they weaved it into the entire sort of little mystery that they concocted, and also sort of weaved in real life characters, real life history into it, I thought it was pretty smart. It's ambitious. You don't see that often in these very sort of petty period dramas. And I thought, period comedies, so to say. And I thought that was nice. You don't see it, and I thought her performance for me allowed me to take the film less seriously than you should. And that's a good thing.
I was not a fan. I liked the first one very much. The first Enola Holmes I thought was really fun, and also because it was a revelation to see Millie Bobby Brown do something, because I watched Stranger Things very closely and I followed that show very closely, and I loved it. And I loved the fact that there was Helena Bonham Carter teaching her the ways of the world, and her particular brand of like feminism, right? Like where she is like doesn't care, she'll slap you and she'll do whatever she wants to do. So she's passing that on to a newer generation. This is also like a Gen Z film, and I was really interested in seeing how old stories from not just our time, like generations before us, are now translating towards a newer, fresher generation, and how they were adapting. Like obviously these are all made by millennials and boomers, but they are for the Gen Z, because it's, the lead character is a Gen Z. So how those old stories are now being translated to for a newer generation, I was very interested in. I thought they did a pretty bang up job of it, and there was a really good line in the film about which resonated with lots of people as well, because it got turned into a meme real fast, that if you're apolitical, that means it's not affecting you, right? Really, really famous scene. This one felt like a cash grab, frankly speaking, because the first one did really well. I thought it was a little dull. I wasn't quite into the twists and the turns, and I could predict everything, like 20 minutes before it was revealed. My spoilers, y'all, if you haven't watched Enola Holmes, but like, okay, fine, no spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the twist here because it's just dropped, so ठीक है, मैं नहीं कर रही spoil, but I could see the twists ki acha ye iska asli naam ye hai. I also felt that the Sherlock Holmes presence was too much and too unnecessary, because it began to feel like a Henry Cavill movie, as opposed to the first one, which felt like a Henry Cavill summer project. Like, he's there, great, he's making enough money to go on one international vacation, good for him. But this one started to feel like a Henry Cavill film, which I was like, this is not the promise of this premise. This is not what I was told I will watch. I also felt that the writing was a little lazy, because a lot of places people just appear like very conveniently. She goes to some place and then like she sees something happen, and that very moment that she has arrived in that place, then in the one scene there in the theater, no spoilers, but one scene there in a theater, and then people just like appear there, like what are those people doing there, like why are they there? So like, just like a little bit of lazy convenient writing, which makes it feel like a little bit of a cash grab from me. But I like that they weaved in a real story, Sarah Chapman's story of the woman who kind of revolted against the people who were making the phosphorus matches, and they weaved that into this. That's really, really cool. I would have liked to see more of Helena Bonham Carter, but then again, it's fine, because again, like Henry Cavill, this is not a Helena Bonham Carter film. This should have been a Millie Bobby Brown film a little bit more. And also like the last one had more adventure in general. Like, she runs away, and then she meets another runaway, and then they become friends, and then they have to find their way back exactly to the same town where their journeys began. So it felt more like an adventure. It was more exciting. This was like a little more controlled, perhaps because of, I don't know, it was shot in the pandemic or when this happened, but the staging area was smaller. So it didn't feel like that much of a flight of fancy, so to speak. So I wasn't fully into this one.
Oh wow! So you had a bad week then. More than me. Like, I at least didn't mind this film, so there was some sort of saving grace for me, because I watched this after watching the Hindi films in the week. So I was like, it almost came as like, okay, finally I'm watching something like I want to watch. And I didn't go in with high expectations, because I feel like we have the exact opposite reaction to both the films here. So I mean, I there were issues with the film, sure. It was a bit stretched, and I have a particular problem with the sort of, there's a ballroom sequence midway through the film, and a lot of stuff happens in that. It goes on forever. The limited staging sort of reflects in scenes like that, because it's like three different narratives are sort of converging at in one location, and that's a problem, because it's like putting different timelines into one location, and you could see that they were struggling to keep it going at some points. But as I said, I felt like Millie Bobby Brown's performance for me really kept me invested in the film, because it allowed me also to look at the film as something that's self-aware enough to be to have more of Henry Cavill, for example, as Sherlock. The entire story, I mean, at least the progression from the first film is that she wants to get out of the shadow of her brother. And the irony is there is a lot of Henry Cavill in this film, and he's there everywhere. But the way she plays the character, I felt like, I mean, at least I wanted to look at it as a wink to exactly that problem in the film itself. I didn't like that they had a post-credit sequence with Henry Cavill itself, because then you're going in one direction, you're going in the actual Holmes direction.
Exactly. You know, while that little, again, no spoilers, y'all, we're talking about Enola Holmes on Netflix, Enola Holmes 2, and while that little touch that they've added in the end, I thought it was very sweet, and I'm like really looking forward to like seeing it, but in the Sherlock Holmes movie. I don't want to see that in an Enola Holmes movie, because you were promising me a Gen Z female detective, like she's not Gen Z, but you know, she's that age now, female detective, because there's a whole layer of like feminism underneath it, right? She is a female detective because women back in the 1800s when these movies are set were not even allowed to like go to school or whatever. Forget about running their own detective agency. So I want to see more of that and less of Henry Cavill coming to the rescue. Also, one fault I found with the film, and actually I haven't read up anything about it because I just finished watching it like an hour or two ago. I want to read more about you know what, I can't give it away right now because spoiler हो जाएगा. हम बाद में बात करेंगे. Basically, the person who turns out to be the mastermind behind it, that person, I want to talk about that. But हम बाद में बात करेंगे. Alright, everybody who's watching us live right now, my name is Sucharita, this is Rahul Desai. We are two film critics and we watched a ton of films this week. If you're watching us live on YouTube, please thumbs up का button press कीजिए, because if you click the like button, what happens is the stream then goes to many people, and if the stream goes to many people, then more people will come to my channel, and this is how I make my money in my life now. When people come to my channel and watch my things, the YouTube overlords are like, okay fine, here is some money. So these are the movies that we're talking about. We've already spoken about Phone Bhoot, which I have called Bhoot Police at least 3 times, and I've had to go back and edit my video. I'm telling you, I called it Bhoot Police. My editor sends the video in and I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I called it Bhoot Police. So I've done a voiceover, corrected it, it's gone back into edit. But it's the same film, it's the same concept, right? 2 guys catching ghosts, it's the same damn thing. And we've already spoken about Enola Holmes. This is my little thumbnail of what's coming up next is Double XL.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Thoughts, Rahul?
Yeah, this was the beginning of the week for us technically. This was the first Hindi film we watched last week. Extremely shallow film. You know, more of a one-line concept that was like, okay, let's be cool about this. Let's pretend like it's not a male director and not a male co-writer, and let's just pretend like we know everything that is wrong with, or everything that's going on in the head of women who go through something like this. And it's for me, it was just so frustrating because you can see it if you're a film critic, or if you're even a normal film watcher, if you watch enough films in your life, you know it from minute 2 that this is not going well.
Yeah.
The next 135 minutes is a reiteration of that exact tonal issue with the film, of the superficiality with the film, of the gimmickry of the film. It felt dishonest after a while, which is so surprising because it has like 2 actresses involved who, you know, I actually like Huma Qureshi very much, you know, like I actually think
she has a very exciting film coming around the corner, Monica, my darling. So excited for it. Yeah, no, sorry. Please go on.
No, but yeah, I mean, really, like, you can continue from here and I can definitely add.
Same thing, yaar, because it is, you know, you watch bad films and you're like, okay, this is a bad film, I'm going to have to spend. And listen, लोगों दोस्तों हम जरा आपकी प्रीकंसीव नोशन और थोड़ी सी मिसकंसेप्शन यहाँ पे चेंज करते हैं. बुरी फिल्मों के बारे में लिखना ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता है, अच्छी फिल्मों के बारे में लिखना आसान होता है, क्योंकि आपको पता है कि आप कहाँ शुरू करोगे, क्या बोलोगे, और आप लिखते जाते हो. बुरी फिल्मों के बारे में लिखना स्टार्ट करने के लिए ना मुझे डबल एक्सएल स्टार्ट करने के लिए 2 घंटे लग गए. I didn't know where to enter the film. Because it was just so tragically bad, and like you said, it's tragic because these are 2 actors who have given some insanely good performances in their careers. Like Sonakshi Sinha in Lutera is sublime. She's sublime in that film, and they are talking about issues. So again, like if they had put 2 traditionally skinny women in fat suits, then that would have been a completely different problem, and that would have been like, this film is just cancelled from the get go. You enter the film because this is the life experience of the 2 actors you've cast. Very good, that's great. And you know, it's come to that Huma Qureshi and her brother Saqib Salim, who's also an actor, have produced this film themselves. These are all people who are in, as far as I understand, a close-knit group of friends within the film industry, and they've decided to come together and tell this story. Then why not tell it good? If you are going to tell your own story, you have the power, you're the producer, you're the director, you're the writer. Do justice to your own selves. It was just comically bad. I think we were laughing through most of it. This is one of those it's so bad it's good films.
I won't say it's good, but it's just
the comedy was very the Kapil Dev arriving moment. Rahul, you laughed. You laughed.
I was in shock. Yeah, those were sounds of shock mostly. There were some gems in this film, like about like just how bad of it. But as you said, like I was like, if you have an opportunity, you're producing your own film in a way, have an opportunity to channel your own life experience. You belong to an industry that's notorious for fat shaming.
Yeah.
Especially with actresses, especially with heroines, especially with any woman entering the industry, the shit they have to go through. Everything from different ends of the spectrum. You have Huma Qureshi on one side, you have like Sonakshi, who is grown up in a film family and still has faced her own set of issues as far as her body image. And it's just, why would you just settle for something so stupid and something so dumb and then allow and basically try to predict what the audiences would like to see, which is absolutely wrong, because nobody wants you're just basically saying that, okay, maybe if we go to London and set most of the film in London, it'll be cool, because that's what people pay money to go to theaters for. So let's go through a whole conflict and let's do it in a foreign country that everyone has seen before, but let's do it in a very cute way. And oh man, there are so many issues I can't even begin, like especially with the team, with the love interests and with the men in the film. It's just the worst. Like the men in the film, one is so creepy. One is so creepy that it just defeats the whole purpose of two women sort of headlining the film.
But the women are not allowed to solve their own problems. Every step of the way, the men step in and solve the problem. It's like there are two actresses who want to talk about fat shaming, so a male writer stepped in and a male director stepped in to solve this problem of how we are going to talk about fat shaming. So Sonakshi Sinha has a brother who steps in and solves the problem. Then she finds a boyfriend who steps in and solves the problem. Huma Qureshi's character has a guy who steps in and solves the problem by uploading her clip on Twitter. The guy has gotten her an interview with Kapil Dev, and the interview is also with Kapil Dev. It's not with any female cricketer, it's with Kapil Dev. Sure, Kapil Dev is great, but Kapil Dev walks in like a rock star. I mean, Kapil Dev, again, it's like one of those Jackie Shroff things. Like, they are clearly having a blast. So good for them having fun on someone else's money. It is. I don't understand how this film went so wrong. It went really, 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 really wrong.
I mean, literally every male in the film felt like, they felt like they were Shah Rukh and Kalona. Like, every one of them were like, I'm here to rescue you. Let me improve your lives. Let all of you are going through hell. Let me nudge you in the right direction. And okay, if you still want to do that, do it. A lot of audiences would still go for that. But at least do it properly. Just don't write an absolute, there's not one memorable dialogue in the film. There is just the most bizarre staging I've seen, where you like just randomly, very casually sort of go on a boat to your to that was insane. Like, I think all of us started laughing at the same time.
Beautiful. Okay, for anyone who's not watched Double XL, what happens here is that this guy who's a line producer, who also doubles up as a driver, but drives an expensive convertible car and lives in a riverside home with his mother, which is clearly a very rich person home. I don't know why he's picking them up for the airport. Like, what was the reason behind him doing that? But whatever, होता होगा लंदन में, करते होंगे, मतलब कोई होंगे टैक्स ब्रेक्स मिलते होंगे लोगों को. पर so he invites the two women and the cinematographer over to dinner one night, and they rock up to the house in a boat, because it is like the house.
That's what happens in London, apparently.
But even if it does, like, not one character says that this is really weird, guys. Like, I've never gone to someone's house in a boat. Anyway, they enter the house, and this guy's idea of romance, all right, is to have gigantic life-size cutouts of a woman he has met 1 week before all over the house, and he खुद छत पे चढ़ा हुआ है वो. So when she walks into one room to the other, she's like, where are you, Zoravar, where are you? And he has the weird, like the most annoying catchphrase in the world. So she goes from one room to the other, she sees cutouts of herself, and she sees cutouts of this guy. If you go to someone's house and they have not one, not two, but like about 5 life-size cutouts of you, girl, run. Get the F out. Leave. Never talk to this person again. But here we're supposed to make it look like very cute. And then he's on the roof. And then immediately what happens is the cinematographer fellow, who's South Indian, starts singing a song in Tamil. No one in that house speaks Tamil. At least in my understanding of what I was watching. And he just starts singing. And everyone's like, wow. And I'm like, am I watching a TikTok? What is this? It's shabby. And it's just really sad.
Yeah, it did feel like a school skit. So,
yeah. So that's those are the why was it in London? Acha, ye bata de. Is there any reason for them to be in London and not like, I don't know?
I mean, why in London?
Bombay?
Plot wise, because she wanted to shoot her fashion video, and the Indian cricket team was playing there. So Huma's character wanted to confront the CEO. So they weren't tour. Where else to go but follow the Indian cricket team?
But we didn't even see any shots of the matches or anything. There was no flavor of cricket in there.
Cricket was an afterthought. Like other than Kapil Dev's like flowing locks.
Beautiful.
I don't think there was any suggestion of cricket in the film.
Anyway, everybody who's watching us, we are thankful that you are here. There's about 166 people watching right now. That's great. Please, all of you, click the thumbs up button, the like button. एंड लाइक आप दबाएंगे तो ये स्ट्रीम जो है और लोगों के होम पेज पे दिखाई देने लग जाएगी और लोगों को पता चलेगा. यूट्यूब फिर लोगों को बताएगा कि ये लाइव स्ट्रीम चल रही है, इसको देखो. नाउ आर वी डन टॉकिंग अबाउट डबल एक्सएल और डू वी हैव मोर?
Yeah, no, I think we are done. Like it's way too much time on double XL.
Also, for a movie where one of your lead characters is a fashion designer, can we give at least her better clothes like that look like actual fashion? The fashion show in the end is just abysmal.
Yeah, I know.
Very upsetting. And I like Monica, my darling, I'm very excited to watch. Vasan Bala is a very exciting filmmaker as well. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, our pick of the week is Janvi Kapoor in as Mili, made by Mathukutti Xavier, which is a Hindi adaptation of his own national award winning Malayalam film Helen, which was released in 2019 and did really, really well. Boni Kapoor seemingly purchased the rights of this film in 2020. I don't know if it was a pandemic decision or not, but if it was a pandemic decision, it makes sense because this is a low budget film. It's the staging area is so small, it's pretty much inside a room for the most part, and when it's outdoors also, it is on scooters in like a small locality, so it makes sense that this film was made in the pandemic, and it might be one of the only films made in the pandemic that has turned out well, and that just doesn't feel like it was made just because Rajkumar Rao didn't have anything to do, so he went and made Hit the First Case. You remember Hit the First Case?
Of course, we remember Hit.
My God. All right, thoughts on Mili, Rahul?
Quite like the film. I haven't seen Helen, so it'd be. So I went in sort of blind in that sense. I knew it was a survival thriller. I actually like Janvi Kapoor. I've always liked what she's sort of tried to do. This is, as we figured out, like while watching the film, and we've talked about earlier, this is already her like fourth author-backed role in like such a short career. She's doing the kind of roles that I think a lot of others from her generation aren't. She's not playing the heroine. She's sort of headlining films. And I thought this was a nice little showcase in that sense. I don't think it was there purely so that Janvi could show off her acting skills or to for her to sort of really parade it around. And I just thought it was a smart film. I don't know how it's adapted because I haven't seen the original, but I thought it was a smart film in how it was staged and crafted, because there's a lot more to the film than the fact that it is about a girl who's stuck in a cold store of a restaurant in a mall. There's the main thing is about what is happening outside, and the people who are looking for her single father, and her boyfriend, and a bunch of cops, and a bunch of other people looking for her around city, which is Dehradun here. I thought that was smartly done, because it's, for me, it played out as a socio-cultural drama. The way the men were sort of, the way it was set up, first of all, and the way the men were looking for her and doubting her character because she had gone missing. I thought there was a lot of subtext in how, when a girl goes missing in a country like this, it's normally her character that is doubted first, and her father was on the verge of already doubting her character before she went missing. So I thought those little touches really served the film well. So I didn't think it was just made as a survival thriller.
Yeah, and with the exception of Seema Pava, who appears in one scene, and one other character who's Mili's colleague, and she helps join the search party later on. There's no other female characters in the film. It's just her, which also goes to show just how much our workforce is skewed, like it's male skewed. Every single job, more often than not, has men supervisors, men colleagues, men juniors, men customers. So it is a men's world, and the fact that this film does not have any prominent female characters also drives that point home, that it is a men's world designed by men for men's comfort. Yeah, no, for real, for me also this movie worked because I think Janhvi Kapoor is on like some kind of war path to prove that sure, I have the opportunities that I do because of my last name, my family, my connections, but look at me, I am also a good performer. So I think that's how she is choosing her films, to really kind of push herself as much as she can. Also, she's 25 years old, right? So she's so young. She has that energy, and she's using it in the right kind of endeavor, which I appreciate. I appreciate that you've been given everything that you could have asked for as a person that's born into the industry, to a movie star mother, to a film producer father, and your whole family is in the industry. Now tell me why I should entertain your presence here. And this is another reason why she wants you to entertain her presence in this film industry, because she's worked very hard on this very clearly. She's very good in this film. Her acting performance is really, really good. The film's writing is really, really good. I have also not watched the original Helen, and probably that's why I enjoyed it more. If I had watched it, then I would have known the beats, and I might have. But also, I really like that the film does not let go of the social commentary till the last shot, till the very last shot. In fact, the last shot hit me, really drove the point of the film home to me, and I realized, okay, so this film is actually using this one incident over one night, is committed to making that one point, that we live in a society that is divided by gender and class and caste and money, all of that shit. Because when that chowkidar of the mall in that last scene says that I've been a watchman for some 30 odd years, and no one looks at me and no one smiles at me, but your daughter smiles at me every day, and I didn't. So that's why he clearly looks forward to meeting her as she comes and as she leaves, and that's how he remembers that she's not left the mall today. And then, as everything's okay, she's been found, she's safe, he turns around and says, "Beti ka naam kya hai?" And I'm like, oh, he doesn't know her name, because even for her, who we are saying she's such a nice girl, what a sweet girl, she's also never even talked to him. So they don't, like, she doesn't know his name. It's just we also feel like, arey, I always talk to I always smile at, like, but there's a wall between you and the watchman. The watchman doesn't know your name. The watchman is never going to know your name. Even if you tell them your name, they're not going to call you by your name ever. And it's a very uniquely India thing as well. When if this is not a thing that happens, at least the other country that I'm familiar with, America, right? You know people's name and people call you by name. Here in India, if you're rich and poor, the poor don't call you by your name. And the film stays committed to that right till the last shot, and I was very, very impressed with that.
Yeah, that's, I mean, as you said, like, the sort of commentary that happens when we are not looking and when we don't expect it, because we are as audiences conditioned to be more invested in the survival aspect of the film, because that's what the film's USP is, and that's what we as an audience are expected to be entertained by, and that's the acting platform we are looking at as well.
Yeah.
What's happening in the freezer. But yeah, as you pointed out, like the right till the last shot, there's always something that's being said, and it's up to really the audiences, depending on who they are, what gender they are, what caste they are,
Yeah.
what they want to take away from the film actually reveals who they are also. So,
Yeah.
I'm sure like we took away this from this film because we come from a certain amount of background of privilege, or we come from, we are of a certain gender, of a certain class. But I'm sure I'd be very interested to see what like someone else watching the film would take away from it. And that's what like good films tend to do sometimes. And I, of course, the film isn't flawless by any means. Like
Yeah. No.
it's not like there are problems. We talked about the cameo. That is a big issue. It takes you out of the film. There's a cameo
Yeah.
in between.
We can
At
talk
the
about the cameo now. I think we can mention the cameo now.
Oh, we can, because yeah, even in Helen, apparently it was a star cameo. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically like Jackie Shroff cameo here, and I'm like,
Completely unnecessary.
how many films is he going to do in 1 week?
Jackie Shroff is on another trip, yeah, right now. 2 releases in 1 week has Jackie Shroff in it. No, but yeah, no, the Jackie Shroff cameo was wholly unnecessary.
Yeah.
It completely took me out of the experience because the film works really hard to create an atmosphere, to create thrill, to create a countdown, right? Because the clock is ticking, the temperature is. So when there's an inbuilt clock in your screenplay, then the tension is just building, and you bring it crashing down in that one moment where Jackie Shroff appears in slow motion as a like there was absolutely no need for that cameo, and I fought that film in a big way for that. Also, the cop characters were caricatures. Both of them were good cop, bad cop. Quite like Sanjay Suri, when he enters the film, he clearly enters the film because he's meant to enter the film at that time. There's no reason for him to be at that police station in the middle of the night. There's no reason for this cops, like this inspector is so chill because he knows his supervisor is not going to show up, right? It's not like रात के 1 बजे जब वो search चल रही है, but 1 बजे उसका supervisor आ गया police station में, क्यों आया है? Why is that senior cop there?
It's
There's
not
no
like
reason.
he's doing something else on the side and he just happens to bump into this situation. He's here only for this situation.
Yeah. So he's just been said, or enter frame, and this guy enters frame. So which I was like, the film is better than this.
Yeah. So I have one question for you, and I've been curious about this myself because I was wrestling with the thought myself. They made Mili's character obviously very virtuous, right? And they made her such a sweet, noble, almost a flawless character in a sense. Did that work for you totally? Because like obviously that's the easier path out.
Yeah.
Compared to say introducing a young 24-year-old girl who has her issues. Of course, she's hiding her boyfriend from her father, but at the same time, she's also looking for validation from her father. She was never going to run away with the boyfriend, and she was like, I wanted your dua before doing anything. I would have never let you down. So every time throughout the film, her character is reiterated. Even in the way the bond between the father and the boyfriend sort of takes up. The boyfriend actually tells the father saying, she was always going to respect you. It's just that she was waiting for me to pull my socks up. So basically creating Mili as this very, very almost, a flawless human being.
Yeah.
I felt like at some point might have been the easy way out.
Yeah, I think what my reading of that is that there is this like girl who looks like she has it set ki this is my padhai, this is my training, these are my IELTS, this is my exam, I'm going to go to Canada, this is the boy, I will do whatever it takes to get him a job because this is my plan. He has to get a job, I will take him home, I will marry him, I'll get my father's blessing and all that shit. And then what happens to your best laid plans when you nearly die in a very sudden thing. So I think and then she has to discover a side to herself that she didn't know she has of survival, because so far she has been doing a different kind of survival opening doors quite literally for herself. Has been a different kind of survival, like, with a boss who's not very nice, and in a world that's not very nice to her and to women like her. But she doesn't see the bad in the world because she's just that person who's just so focused that I don't have a mother. I just had, this is what I have to do. I have to go to Canada. I have to go to Canada. And this is what I need to do to get there. So like suddenly when she's caught in that freezer, she has to find a way of her personality to be able to fight. Like, so far she's so nice that she doesn't fight. She goes with the flow, and even in her disagreements with her father, when she's yelling at him for smoking cigarettes and all that stuff, there's like love. She'll disagree with you, but like not. But now she has to fight. She has to survive, and to me that it brought out the contrast in you know who she is. Like, she's a very vanilla person, dull, boring person. Like, I probably wouldn't be friends with this person if I, because she's this leader, but also like she's a child, right? She's in her early 20s. So I didn't mind that. I didn't mind that at all.
Interesting. Yeah, because you think after going through an experience like that, she might be a totally different person because she ditches going to Canada after that.
That I didn't like also.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's basically saying, okay, my father and my boyfriend are finally, they've accepted. Like,
that's all I require. I was actually thinking that Manoj Pava will say that I'm coming with you or something. Like, we're all going to Canada.
It's sort of a very Indian cultural thing to do, like saying, okay, maybe I should stay back and, care for my, my parent is right sort of mentality almost after a while. I never like it when young characters are sort of made to look like they are basically putting too much on the line and they're forced to sacrifice their own future.
Yeah.
And, the streaks of that also in there.
Yeah. I did not like that conclusion in the end. That, like, right before the climax, right before the final shot of her father saying कि हाँ अब तो अब तुम दोस्त बन गए हैं, and she's like, अच्छा बड़ी दोस्ती हो गई है, and then she says मैं नहीं जाऊंगी, मैं यहीं रहूंगी, which is like, ठीक है, maybe it could have been like an open, like, it didn't have to be so definitive. Like,
they didn't have to say it.
I don't at this point I'm not interested in knowing if she's going to Canada or not. I'm not interested in it. The audience has forgotten about it. The film is not about her going to Canada anymore. She survived. The film is about her father realizing also the error of his ways, and after nearly losing his daughter, and also about him realizing of the world that we lives in, which he does in that moment where he finally yells at the cop and says, how can you talk about my daughter like that? Whereas until then, when he's talked about his daughter the night before, that ye to apne boyfriend ke sath ghoom rahi thi, he's not even bothered to talk to the daughter about it. He's not questioned the cop the night before. That what is the cop even talking about, Mili? He's not done that. But then when he feels like his daughter's dead, that's when he's like, how can you talk about my daughter like this? So so there's it's actually very layered, like, things that the film is saying. It's saying like a lot of things, and most of them, 98% of them translated.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I read that the religion angle in Helen was sort of translated into the caste angle here, though the caste angle wasn't very obvious. It's only through the cops, through the bad cops sort of attitude towards the boyfriend. But I still thought it was the right place to do it in, like, Uttarakhand in general and Dehradun. The entire caste thing where you're asking each other's surname and then sort of raising an eyebrow. I thought, like, if you have to adapt something and if you don't want to keep it as, say, something as strong as religion, which they did in Helen, because it's Kerala, because it's a conservative Christian family from what I read, which is a great setting, by the way. If you have to convert it into something North Indian, I'd say caste in North India would be fairly appropriate.
The film shies away from going there a little bit. It just remains steadfastly about the class divide, not the caste divide.
A bit like Dhadak in that sense.
Correct. 100%. Great. So what do we have coming up this week? We've got Crown, the Crown season 5. Do you watch Crown?
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm waiting for it.
So tell me, what are your thoughts about this season?
So I have kept away from all promotional material. I haven't watched the
Same.
trailer. One of my favorite actresses is playing Diana. Finally, I predicted this long back that she's going to
Yeah.
Elizabeth Debicki, and I'm looking forward to it because it's the '90s. It's actually the one era we were finally actually alive in, like The Crown. Till now, I was like, okay, I'm looking at what happened before I was
Yeah.
born. But now I'm very much clued into, because the '90s, I feel like most of us were obsessed with the Diana story, with her life, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it very much. Let's see.
Okay, me too. I'm looking forward to the show very much. And The Crown is such a spectacular show and such a
Yeah,
spectacular achievement in storytelling because it started off as a period show,
I know.
in the 30s, with the when Elizabeth wasn't even
Yeah,
queen,
yeah,
when her father was king and her uncle had abdicated, right? And so it started off as a period drama and continued to be that, then turned into something else, then turned into contemporary, and now it's finally turning into modern history, which is so incredible that they've managed to keep it fresh, that they've managed to bring new cast members with every season, and done a fantastic job. Claire Foy, Olivia
yeah,
Colman, just fabulous, fabulous cast. So very excited.
yeah.
Then there is Monica, Oh My Darling. Again, I have very little reading on the film because I stay
Yeah,
away
I've
from
not seen anything. Yeah.
trailers completely, but always excited to watch Vasan Bala and what he's doing.
Yeah, like I have like high expectations there. I'm looking forward to that, and it sounds like a very interesting film, from what I heard about it long back. And yeah, those are pretty much the two big things I'm looking forward to this week. There is other stuff also. There's Breed season 3. There is there's Uchai, which is Suraj Bajatia's comeback. So
What
yeah,
was the
there's a
last film
fair
Suraj
amount.
Barjatia made? Viva. Has he made
I
anything
actually
since
have
then?
I actually have no idea. Yeah, maybe probably Viva. I don't think so.
Wowzers.
Or maybe he has. I don't know.
What a ridiculous film that was.
It has its fan base, just so you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, I hear you. Um, yeah, so Unchai is like a old elder people decide to go climb Mount Everest in more
Yeah.
ways than one. Danny Deng Zongpa is back on screen, but for some reason the trailer tells you, and we watched this trailer because it was preceded by one of the screenings we were watching this week, that Danny Deng Zongpa dies, is the first character to die. So that is already in the trailer. So let's see what that film is going to provide. Praniti Chopra is in it. Her last film was just
Yeah.
not it.
Mm.
Codename Tiranga is abysmal. And then there's one more. There's one more something that I'm looking forward to. Wakanda Forever. Are we getting an Indian
Oh,
release of Wakanda Forever?
I think so.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's a global release, right? This
Yeah,
week.
yeah. So that's there. I'm really looking forward to that.
Did you watch Black Panther? तो सुपर हीरो फिल्म में तो देखता नहीं है.
Black Panther was one of the rare Marvel films I watched, and I really enjoyed.
तो ये हफ्ता अच्छा होने वाला है फिर.
Wait, like it looks like a packed week, but better titles in comparison to the last few weeks.
Yeah, I think हमारी परीक्षा खत्म हो गई है. हमारा टेस्ट खत्म हो गया है. Now we are being rewarded with at least the Crown season 5. If nothing else, we can be
Yeah.
assured that that is going to be good. One hopes actually.
Yeah.
You never know. Great, thanks Rahul. If anyone wants to read you and find you, where can they read you and find you? Please tell.
Find me on Film Companion. That's why my written reviews go up. I only write. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Wonderful. And everybody जो अभी हमें देख रहे हैं, today we've spoken about Enola Holmes, we spoke about Mili, we spoke about Double XL, we spoke about phone Bhoot, again, see, Bhoot Police, I almost said Bhoot Police. We spoke about phone Bhoot, and we spoke about what we are expecting to watch this next week. Have you watched The White Lotus, Rahul?
I watched the first episode. So I'm watching it like episode wise, like it's dropping basically. So I'm planning to watch the second episode tonight.
Did you like the first season?
Oh, I love the first season.
Good, huh?
Loved it. One
Yeah,
of my favorite shows. Yeah.
First season was amazing. What did you think of first episode, season 2?
Too early to tell. I don't know really, but let's see, because it has the actor playing the old man is the guy who won the Oscar for Amadeus, like in 1984. For me, that was one of the best male performances I've ever seen in my life. I think F. Murray Abraham.
The father.
So him playing, the rival to Mozart in that film it's one of my favorite films of all time. So one of the reasons I'm really interested in this season to see how he plays the grandfather in this film, the lecherous grandfather. So
It's a fun character. So yeah, White Lotus season 2 वो भी देखा मैंने, my reviews out for that as well. And anyone who's here, please subscribe to the channel. Please like this stream so more people will see it. I am at 63.1 thousand subscribers, which is pretty great. It's not bad.
No,
it's not bad.
Yeah.
But once you cross 100,000, then YouTube sends you that.
That'll be great.
Flag. फिर मैं वहां से जाऊंगी ऐसे पीछे. हम वैसे भी पार्टी करते हैं हर वीकेंड ना, बकवास नहीं कर. Because we spend so much time watching bad movies, we have to get together and have a drink or two.
Needing at least one drink, to put it very mildly. But yeah.
Thanks Rahul for your time. और मिलते हैं अगली स्क्रीनिंग का. मुझे WhatsApp कर देना जब भी इन्फॉर्मेशन आएगी. ओके
बिल्कुल.